guys, I can't wait to watch the new documentary on Hulu, the one with the police. I'm so stoked. Anyway, I'm headed to work. My hair is growing and I am so ever so elated because that was the goal, right? The goal was to grow my hair. I was just thinking about, what was I just thinking about? Oh, okay. Yeah, I was thinking about like people in relationships really quick. Like, you know, they'd be like, don't leave your partner or don't stay with your man if it's been 10 plus years or whatever the case may be. You know, I don't think you should take that advice. That's not my situation, and I'm not ever, you know, saying be with someone who obviously, you know, like doesn't want to be with you and they've made that clear or whatever the case may be. But I do kind of want to talk about marriage and how the European narrative is that, right? That like, oh, if this person didn't marry you, they don't want to be with you. I always talked about this, especially when there was like a rise. Okay, how are we gonna do this camera, girl? I don't know. But I feel like especially with the rise of social media, because I felt like there was a lot of psychology and a lot of advice regarding relationships and like people's lives or whatever. And I just felt like so much of it was rooted in Europeanism. And I felt like it was so dangerous because there's a huge cultural difference from Europeans and black people. Like there's just a huge culture difference. And I really felt like a lot of the Western psychology, you know, things like this is wrong, this is right, you know, in terms of parenting specifically, because, you know, therapy talk and trauma became like a huge phenomenon. But I felt like it was so dangerous to kind of like employ so much of the psychology because I just felt like there was a huge lack of representation and a lack of understanding and overall education in regards to the cultural differences. And like cultural ignorance is just one thing that nobody wants to talk about. I feel like no institution is ever really held accountable for its lack of representation and study and education in regards to African American communities and all the ways in which we show up and all the ways in which we hold space in this on this earth, you know. But to be fair, institutions lack education, you know, regarding a lot of things. So I would not necessarily put it all on them per se, but there's really something said about that. And so reading this book right now, it's called Poverty by Matthew Desmond. And, you know, what made me really kind of divulge in this literature in regards to like poverty and so forth was I was at the park, I was running, and I just couldn't believe, like, I was like, you know, you see homeless people and it's like, okay, you know, you see homeless people right there on the corner, you know what I mean? Like, it doesn't really register for you. I think I say this all the time, but to be alive is to really exist in polarity. That's why I'm also opposed to a lot of the misdiagnosis and common diagnosis in regards to mental health. I mean, I genuinely think that to be alive is literally to exist in polarity. I mean, you have to like wake up and then realize that it could possibly also be you. And you have to exist, like, for example, being a black person and experiencing racism and racial discrimination, but then you also have to kind of hold space for a possibility, you know? So I just genuinely think to exist is to live in polarity. I mean, literally look at our president, like, you know what I mean? Like our presidents, our ex-president, you know what I mean? Like prior, like it's just a lot, right? It's a lot. So anyway, I was doing the research in regards to poverty because I went for a run and I was out and I saw this, like I seen multiple couples at the park that were homeless. And it just kind of really threw me for a loop. You know, in the morning we're the wisest. So I was really just like on that frequency. I was very much connected to God. And I just kind of was like so taken back by this. So I wanted to read more about it. But I mean, one thing, there's a lot that goes into it. But speaking specifically in regards to like relationships on this very minuscule, well, actually it's pretty grand. But on this level was the realization. And finally the statistics really backed by how going to school, getting a college degree, and then getting married is not the answer for black people to escape poverty because it doesn't always work. And it's less likely to work for a black person than it is for a white person. Obviously, it works for a white person. And though I personally was not opposed to the idea of going to college and, you know, even still trying to take that path to forge financial stability and financial security, because I do think that even if you and your partner, let's say, you know, your husband makes 30K, you make 30K, I think that's 60K, right? You know what I mean? I'm not going to say I think, but I'm saying like, you know, sarcastically, but like the realism of how if you do the math, it still kind of makes sense for you to get married, especially if like financial security is your concern. And then we also have to kind of take it back if you want to look at it from a different point of view, which would be Christianity, right? We know that God provides, so I think that you should probably convert. Outside of that, the realism and the truth regarding this is that Black people don't typically marry because Black men don't typically have the same financial provision and economic opportunities to garner financial provision to have a marriage. And when we think about marriage in terms of like Europeanism, when I say Europeanism, I'm not talking about white culture, I'm talking about American culture. It comes with the house. It comes with the house. It comes with, the kids. It comes with the option to be a stay-at-home mother with your children. That's what the ideology is around marriage. And if you are a man, and you can't provide that, then you're probably going to stay away from that ideal, because you know that you don't have the means to kind of fit that very picture perfect cookie cutter idea and definition of marriage. So it really makes a lot of sense. And I just was thinking about this, a lot of couples are pressuring their partners, or me personally, well, I don't know. I can't really say. I can't speak to that. What do I know? You know what I mean? Please don't hit my car, girl. Like, just get over it, girl. I know you you driving real close. But anyway, I'm not going to speak to that because I don't know. But I do think there's really something said about it, especially today. There was a video that went viral of a Black woman telling her husband that he needed to go out and get several jobs because she was done working and he made $15 an hour. And people are going to do what they want with that. I think a lot of people are going to side with the majority and have a very similar opinion regarding that. But it was just very emasculating and slightly disturbing to watch, especially being that, she was, they're married and they were married for like multiple years, and then she had like multiple kids by this guy. And I feel like what's really unfortunate about the feminist movements is that they lie to you and like they don't really tell you. And it's not even a matter of getting another man. Like, I'm not even talking about the surface level basis of like a relationship. I'm talking about like how hard it is to be a single mother. And like this woman obviously is very privileged to some extent. She has the help of her husband, they're married or whatever the case may be. And when you go and you listen to social media and you listen to other people, single women per se, who claim to start these Amazon dropship companies, right? I can't believe people are still selling out to this idea of like internet wealth done overnight, like extravaganza. Like, I can't believe people are still selling out to that idea. Like, why are you guys still buying into the drop shipping and the idea of like starting this online business and forging millions of dollars? I think what sucks about these conversations is that yes, it's happened for some people, and yes, it could possibly happen for you, but the chances of it happening for you are very unlikely. And it's like, it really sucks because it's like, to say stuff like that, people paint you out to be a cynic, or they paint you out to be someone who's like, but it's like, babe, you're selling body lotion. Do you have Bath and Body Works connects? Like, how are you about to make 7 figures? How? And like, I feel like what's really unfortunate in regards to like entrepreneurship and the surge of entrepreneurship is that like a lot of people set the standard for like Bezos. And it's like, yo, like, you can sell your products and have your online jewelry business or your online t-shirt business, and it's a hobby and it's cool, and you make some money on the side and you make, a couple extra dollars, you know what I mean? But like, it may never be a 7-figure business. Like, to create a 7-figure business, you need to have one hell of a need that you're meeting that is not only commercialized, but it's something that is so prevalent. Everyone pretty much has this need. You see what I'm saying? And like, I just feel like when it comes to business, there's not a lot of people who have the business acumen or the patience to really kind of do that research, to be like, what really makes a successful business? And like, also consider the factors and the resources that play into having a successful business. I feel like a lot of people are just very unrealistic. So anyway, since the girl put her business out there, I'm just speaking as a witness to the abuse and the craziness that went on that video. It's just like, it's unfortunate because it's like, she's gonna make a life-altering decision. And again, I've never been married. I'm not speaking about marriage. I'm just saying like the very much surface level of this woman divorcing her partner because of something she's heard on the internet, and like people, single women specifically, gassing her up. Single women who don't have kids, single women who have careers and they've had time while she was like having babies and being married. These women were out forging great careers, and they have the means, and they have the they have the opportunity to be like, yeah girl, leave that guy, like he's a bum, he's a bum nigga, girl. Like, go get you a, you know what I mean? Like, these women have traveled, they've seen the world, and it's like, here you are, and that's not even your situation, and now you're gassed up, and now you're like, you're not even considering, you know what I mean? So anyway, you know, do what you will with that information. I just think it's very interesting to see a lot of people still making life-altering decisions based on the internet, given everything that takes place from this. And I think that this is why it's important to really learn from others. I don't really think that, you know, yes, experience is obviously the best teacher, but I really feel as though if you can develop the skill of learning from others, you'll just be like better off. Like, you know, like you'll just be better off. And again, I'm not telling people to settle, but I'm just saying with the rise of like housewife standards for like every woman right now jumping on this thing, you know, you should just really consider some factors, man. Like, I mean, honestly, like, this girl, it's so funny. Like, everyone wants to be black right now, and I just think it's like literally so hilarious. Like, you meet like immigrants, people be like, I'm black, and it's like, you were not black, and you didn't want to be black like 4 years ago. You know what I mean? Like, everyone wants to be black right now, and it's so funny. Like, you see white girls who have literally passed for that their whole lives, and they're coming out like, oh, I have a black grandma, I'm black. Like, you weren't black 7 years ago. Like, it's so funny just to kind of see people be in this space today. Y'all are hilarious. Anyway, that's side note. Yeah, back to the whole premise of the video. Yeah, I think you should like totally not listen to other people. And I think if you're a black person, understand that when you're on the internet, you know, indulging in like all this information, you need to understand that your perspective, your life, your statistics, your reality is very, very seldomly considered. Okay, like you're probably not, like when we talk about this housewives, this is the white woman's thing. Like, this has never been a black woman's thing. I mean, I'm not gonna say it's not possible. Like, obviously it's possible. Like, come on, let's be in 2023. Like, obviously opportunities have submerged. Okay, like we have obviously progressed. Like, we're not living in the, this is not the 60s, this is not the 50s, this is very evidently not the 40s. So obviously, let's put some things into perspective. Okay, let's use a little bit of like, you know, common sense. But at the same time, I think that we should just really like open our beautiful brown eyes and just realize that like when you are on the internet, you need to engage in it from an objective point of view, because a lot of times the things that are being said don't concern you. They don't concern you. They don't include you. And they don't have anything to do with you. Why? Because to be black is to... Wait, that's not what I was going to say. That would have been nice if I got to end the video on that note. But why? Because being black is an experience. And the most black people who have this experience, they're not conventionally accredited, okay? So they're not typically in this space where their voices can be heard. But they're in the books, and they're in the observations and studies of sociologists. Have a great day.